Thank you very much. I'm just going to give a presentation on the National Remote Sensing Center's activities. Basically, we haven't been transformed yet into a space agency. We are still going through the acts, but right now we are Zambia's National Remote Sensing Center. So the agenda will be looking at who we are, what our mandate is, then just a brief slide on what remote sensing is, then look at the Space and National Remote Sensing Center's activities, and then look at the ambitions and challenges, linkages, and conclusion. So the National Remote Sensing Center was created by a statutory instrument number 137 in 1999. But this was derived from the Science and Technology Act of numbers 26 of 1997. So we are a quasi-governmental institution, and we are charged to advise government on the policy framework and the long-term strategies relating to space technology, remote sensing data, and its exploitation for national development. So in terms of capacity, human capacity, we are about 25 all in all, and the technical manpower is about 15. So as for remote sensing, those that are not into remote sensing, I think you can have either active or a passive remote sensing platforms. So essentially what I'm depicting here is the passive remote sensing platform where it relies solely on sun's radiation. So propagated to the Earth, interacts with objects on the Earth, bounced back, and the sensor picks up that data, and you have to have an Earth station or a ground receiving station for the data to be squated back into Earth. So the main activities of our National Remote Sensing Center are into forestry, urban development, planning and monitoring, land allocation and management, natural capital accounting, water resources management, agriculture, hazards and disaster monitoring, mining, infrastructure development, and training. So these graphics actually show one of our active areas in terms of monitoring forestry loss in terms of cover over time. So the first top slide to your left is in 1994. Then there is the next one, 1994, 2015, and 2021. You see the pink areas getting larger from 1984, which is built up areas. So from greenery to pink, you can see how much forestry loss there has been. So we do give these updates to the government for decision making and how and what steps should be taken in terms of mitigating the loss of forestry. The next one is a slide looking at urban development. And normally you find that people are not allowed to build extra buildings on their plots because of planning regulations. But with satellite information, we are able to tell who is doing what in their plots, and this can be reported to relevant authorities. The next one is also looking at land cover change. This is one of the cities on the Copper Belt. So we are going into time series from 1997 2008 and 2021. The brown areas is bare grounds, and then the pink areas or color is built up areas. You see from 1997 to 2027, there's been a lot of building going on and loss of forestry. This data is normally given to Ministry of Agriculture or Urban Development for them to look at what is happening. And when you relate this with population, the statistical agency will be able to plan for the population increase. One of the main activities that National Remote Sensing Center engages in is land conversion. So we've got essentially two types of land tenure systems: customary land and state land. Most of the land still falls under customary land. So before you can convert any customary land, any land parcel greater than 100 hectares will pass through our offices to determine how much of each classification is available on that land. Normally, if there is a lot of settlement, we will not give that land away, because then it entails displacing people from land that they've already been settled on and working. We are also involved in natural capital accounting, where we're looking at rivers, forests, lakes, and these are sort of quantified in monetary terms and see how much of it is depleting and how much is being utilized effectively. So we've got different, or the graph there shows different capital, starting from central to the Western province. You see some, especially forest land, you see the green bar, most of it is on the decrease. And then you look at wetlands and built up areas over time, that's increasing as well. We are into water resources management. There are trend analysis that we sort of carry out, and looking at surface area. You'll see in April 2021 and October 2021, the significance of April and October. April is just after our rainy season, and October is the driest part of times of the country. So you see, in terms of area coverage or surface coverage, that water body will have shrunk over the 6 months. This gives information to our hydroelectric power stations in terms of planning, how to regulate the intake of water from reservoirs. We're also into soil suitability. So data that we receive from satellites, we are normally using Sentinel data and also Landsat data in terms of looking at soil suitability. But we also go into the ground just for validation. So that map shows soil suitability for groundnuts, and the others there are showing soil suitability for maize, cotton, beans, and cassava, which are grown across the country. Occasionally, there's disasters that occur, and we use our data, for instance, monitoring areas in terms of elevation, those areas that are susceptible to flooding, especially in the rainy season. This is one of the areas in the Central Province where, because of the river system, that's Kafue River, you will end up with floods. The red areas are showing those areas that are highly prone to flooding, especially when you've got rainfall above 50 millimeters.
Dr. Banda, you have 2 minutes left.
Okay. I think the other issues are drought risk, which we are into. And we sort of have gone into developing a ground receiving station. And this was the construction of the ground receiving station 40 kilometers off the capital. To the extreme left, that's the antenna, and then the in-room where we've got signal reception, demodulation, processing, and archiving. One of the images we are showing there is the NOAA image for weather monitoring. Right now, the space activities include the SKA, which is the Square Kilometer Array radio telescope. We are also involved in community awareness, especially with secondary schools, and we are partnering with the university, especially one of my colleagues here, Dr. Banda. They're working on using a 3D printer in terms of mock-up one new satellite frames to demonstrate onboard computing functionality. We provide training, and our linkages are with government, universities, the Space Agency in South Africa, and USGS. In conclusion, we are planning on increasing our presence in the country and the region, especially with the GRS coming on board, form collaborations, leveraging on the GRS, capacity building and adopting new technologies, e.g. the use of hyperspectral images and machine learning in terms of processing our data. We are also hoping to acquire core knowledge in satellite building and operations, and we're aspiring for inbuilt TTC. Thank you very much. That's all from National Remote Sensing Center.
Okay, Dr. Banda, thank you for your presentation today.